The receiver was already warm when I picked it up. Not from my hand. The house was ice cold that night, my breath fogging in the kitchen. But the plastic against my ear was warm, like someone else had been holding it seconds before. Except I was alone. The phone hadn't rung. I lifted it anyway. No dial tone, just breathing on the other end, slow, even, unbothered, like whoever it was had been waiting there longer than I'd been standing in that kitchen. Then a voice, calm as a woman reading a grocery list, said my name before I said a single word. Three days earlier, I would have laughed at the idea that a phone could answer itself. That night, all I could do was stand barefoot on the cold tile, holding a call I never made, listening to someone who already knew exactly why I'd picked it up. My name's Raina, and 2 weeks before that call, I'd taken a caretaking job through an estate-sitting agency, the kind of gig where a stranger pays you real money to live in their house, keep the pipes from freezing, and make sure the mail doesn't stack up. The listing said quiet property, ideal for writers. I should have clocked that nothing that isolated is quiet for the reason they tell you. The house sat at the end of 2 miles of gravel outside a town too small for a stoplight, just a general store, a shuttered gas station, and a church with a bell nobody rang anymore. Ridgeline pine on every side. Cell signal died about a quarter-mile past the mailbox and never came back. The owner, a woman named Colleen who'd inherited the place from an aunt she barely knew, met me in the driveway with a folder of instructions and an apology she never fully explained. "The landline works fine," she said. "Better than fine, honestly. Just don't answer it after midnight. And if you ever need real help, use your cell up on the ridge. Not the house phone. Especially not if it's an emergency." I laughed. She didn't. I should have asked why. I didn't, because the check had cleared and because a stranger's superstition is easy to nod along with when you need the money. She handed me the key, told me the landline had belonged to the original owners, back when this house was the last stop on the county's phone line, before the exchange moved into town, and said it like a fun fact instead of a warning. That first night, I unpacked, made dinner, and told myself the silence outside the windows was peaceful instead of the word my gut kept offering, which was listening. Around 11:40, I found a spiral notebook wedged behind the phone table, half its pages torn out. On the single page left, in handwriting that wasn't mine and wasn't Colleen's, someone had written and underlined 3 times. "It knows before you dial. Don't let it finish the connection." I told myself it was nothing. I went to bed. I didn't understand the warning yet. Not until 3 nights later, standing in that same kitchen at 12:03 a.m., holding a phone that had already answered itself. The second night, the phone rang once at exactly midnight. One ring, sharp and short, then nothing. I remembered the rule and let it die in the silence, sitting rigid at the kitchen table with my hand around a mug of tea gone cold. In the morning, the answering machine light was blinking. There was one message. I hit play expecting static or a wrong number. Instead, I heard my own voice, clear, close to the receiver, saying something I actually had said the day before, out loud, alone in the living room, to nobody. Words with no phone anywhere near me when I said them. I checked every jack in the house that afternoon. Behind a locked pantry door, I found a junction box I didn't recognize. Old, wood-cased, with a dozen cloth-wrapped cables running out of it like veins, disappearing into the walls toward every room in the house. One thick cable ran down through a gap in the floor into the basement. I drove into town for supplies and asked the man at the general store about the house's history, mostly to fill the silence. His hand stopped on the register. He said the place used to run the county switchboard, and that the night operator, a woman he only called she, never a name, was found dead at her post during a storm decades back. The line still connected when they found her. He told me, flatly, to use my cell and never trust that house phone, then changed the subject like it had cost him something to say that much. That night the phone rang again. I unplugged it from the wall, pulled the cord clean out, coiled it on the counter, and it rang anyway. The same one sharp tone, over and over, from a phone with nowhere to draw a signal from. I found the rest of the notebook's pages 2 nights later, stuffed behind the basement stairs, water-warped but readable. They belonged to the caretaker before me. Entry after entry described the same thing. The phone answering itself, her own voice played back to her, a growing certainty that something in the house was listening even when no phone was off the hook. The last entry stopped mid-sentence. The pen dragged clean off the page like she'd been pulled away from writing it. Down in the basement, past the junction box, I found a small room I hadn't noticed before, no bigger than a closet. One chair facing a switchboard panel bolted to the wall, dozens of brass jacks and cords hanging like something out of an old film. The seat cushions still held a shape, like someone had just stood up from it. The room was warmer than the rest of the basement. I told myself that was just the wiring. By the 4th night, I stopped sleeping with the bedroom door open. I started hearing my own voice come back to me through the vents, not the phone, the actual house, repeating things I'd said hours earlier, patient and unhurried, like it was cataloging me. And underneath all of it, a little louder each night, I could hear something moving through the walls that wasn't wiring at all. On the 5th night, something broke the mudroom window at 12:01 a.m. I didn't think. I ran for the kitchen phone, forgetting every rule Colleen gave me, forgetting the notebook, forgetting the man at the general store, because when something is inside your house, you call for help. You don't debate superstition. I grabbed the receiver. It was already connected. Already warm, that same slow, patient breathing on the other end. And then the voice, calm as ever, said my name. And this time it kept going. I know why you called. Stay on the line. I'll connect you. Downstairs, glass crunched under weight that wasn't mine. I understood, all at once, standing there with the receiver shaking against my ear. This house had never had a working connection to the outside world. Not for me, not for the caretaker before me. Whoever, whatever, had died at that switchboard during the storm was still working it, still protecting this house the only way she knew how, by intercepting every call for help before it could leave the property and keeping the caller on the line with her instead. Safe. Forever. The notebook wasn't wrong. Finishing the connection didn't mean getting help. It meant staying. I didn't hang up. I dropped the phone, cord swinging, voice still murmuring my name from the dangling receiver, and ran for the mudroom instead, not toward whatever had broken the window, but past it, to the toolshed pegboard where Colleen kept an old hatchet for kindling. I found the junction box in the pantry by memory and swung. The first hit did nothing. The second cracked the wood casing. On the third, something in the wall screamed. Not a person's scream, not an animal's, something in between, traveling through the pipes and the vents at once, like the whole house had a voice and I'd just found its throat. The line went dead behind me. So did the sound of footsteps in the mudroom. I didn't wait to find out what that meant. I went out the back door barefoot, hatchet still in hand, and ran the 1/4 mile up the ridge in the dark, branches tearing at my arms, until my cell finally caught one bar of signal. I dialed 911. It rang, an actual, ordinary ring, twice, and a woman's voice, brisk and businesslike, asked for my location and the nature of my emergency, the way a real dispatcher does when she has no idea who you are yet. I have never been so relieved to talk to a stranger. Deputies found the mudroom window broken from the inside out, not the outside in. They never found footprints leading up to the house, only leading away from it, toward the tree line, and then nowhere at all. They found the junction box in splinters, cables cut clean through, and in the basement, the switchboard panel scorched black across every jack, though nothing had burned. I moved back to the city, back to sell towers and dial tones that behave the way dial tones should. For a while I told myself the house was just a house, and grief and superstition had done the rest. Then, 3 weeks after I left, my cell phone rang at 12:03 a.m. Unknown number, an area code I didn't recognize. I let it ring twice before I understood I hadn't touched a single button, and the call was already connected. I heard breathing first. Slow, patient, familiar. Then the voice said my name, gently, like it had never really stopped keeping the line open, and told me not to worry, that she'd always make sure I was connected to someone. I still don't know what she's protecting me from. I'm not sure I want to find out what happens the day I finally let her finish. If you've ever picked up a phone that was already ringing in your hand before you even reached for it, I want to hear about it in the comments. Every story helps me understand what was really in that house, and maybe what's still listening on the line. Subscribe if you want to hear the next one before it finds you first, because somewhere on a line that was supposed to be dead, someone is still waiting for you to pick up.